The cleansing of the temple narrative tells of Jesus expelling the merchants and the money changers from the temple, and occurs in all 4 canonical Gospels of the New Testament. In this account, Jesus and his disciples travel to Jerusalem for Passover, where Jesus expels the merchants and money changers from the temple, accusing them of turning the temple into a den of thieves through the commercial activities. In the Gospel of John, Jesus refers to the temple as my Father's house, thus making a claim to being the Son of God. The narrative occurs near the end of the Synoptic Gospels and near the start in the Gospel of John. Some scholars believe that these refer to 2 separate incidents, given that the Gospel of John also includes more than one Passover. Description: Jesus is stated to have visited the temple in Jerusalem, where the courtyard is described as being filled with livestock merchants, and the tables of the money changers, who changed the standard Greek and Roman money for Jewish and Tyrian money. Jerusalem was packed with Jews who had come for Passover, perhaps numbering 300,000 to 400,000 pilgrims, and making a whip of cords, he drove them all out of the temple with the sheep and oxen, and he poured out the coins of the money changers and overturned the tables. And he told those who sold the pigeons, "Take these things away, do not make my Father's house a house of trade." Quote, "And Jesus went into the temple of God, and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers, and the seats of them that sold doves, and said unto them, It is written, My house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves." Quote, in Mark chapter 12 verse 40 and Luke chapter 20 verse 47, Jesus accused the temple authorities of thieving and this time names poor widows as the victims, going on to provide evidence of this in Mark chapter 12 verse 42 and Luke chapter 21 verse 2. Dove sellers were selling doves that were sacrificed by the poor who could not afford grander sacrifices, and specifically by women. According to Mark chapter 11 verse 16, Jesus then put an embargo on people carrying any merchandise through the temple of sanction that would have disrupted all commerce. This occurred in the outermost court of the Gentiles. Matthew chapter 21 verses 14 to 16 says the temple leaders questioned Jesus if he was aware the children were shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David." Jesus responded by saying, "From the lips of children and infants you have ordained praise." Quote, this phrase incorporates a phrase from the Psalm chapter 8 verse 2, "From the lips of children and infants," believed by followers to be an admission of divinity by Jesus, thus confirming his divinity via proof texting the Old Testament. Chronology. Claims about the temple cleansing episode in the Gospel of John can be combined with non-biblical historical sources to obtain an estimate of when it occurred. John chapter 2 verse 13 states that Jesus went to the temple in Jerusalem around the start of his ministry, and John chapter 2 verse 20 states that Jesus was told, 46 years was this temple in building, and you want to raise it up in 3 days. In the Antiquities of the Jews, 1st century historian Flavius Josephus wrote that the temple reconstruction was started by Herod the Great in the 18th year of his reign, 22 BC, 2 years before Augustus arrived in Syria in 20 BC to return the son of Fahadiv and receive in return the spoils and standards of 3 Roman legions. Temple expansion and reconstruction was ongoing, and it was in constant reconstruction until it was destroyed in 70 AD by the Romans. Given that it had taken 46 years of construction to that point, the temple visit in the Gospel of John has been estimated at any time between 24–29 AD. It is possible that the complex was only a few years completed when the future Emperor Titus destroyed the temple in 70 AD. In art, the cleansing of the temple is a commonly depicted event in the life of Christ, under various titles. El Greco painted several versions. Christ driving the money changers from the temple. 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 Gallery.